Okay, so here's our two functions, f and g, and this says to multiply them. So I'm just gonna do that. 6x squared minus x minus 12 times 2x minus 3. Okay? So the way you multiply this is you're going to take 6x squared times 2x, which is 12x cubed, and 6x squared times negative 3, which is negative 18x squared. And then you're going to take negative x times 2x, which is negative 2x squared, and negative x times negative 3, which is positive 3x. Why did I write 12? I said it was 2, didn't I? And then I'm going to take negative 12 times 2x, which is negative 24x, and negative 12 times negative 3, which is positive 36. So then we would just combine like terms to finish it up. There's only the 1x cubed here. And then these are x squareds, so I can combine those, negative 20x squared. These are x's, which do negative 21x, and then plus 36. Questions? So that's a trinomial times a binomial. You guys should be able to do that. It's a little more than foiling it, but you're just taking each term in the trinomial and multiplying by each term in the binomial. Then combine like terms. Okay? Now the other one we're dividing, so we're taking 2x minus 3 is up top, the g, divided by the x, or the f, sorry. Now, this bottom, this denominator, we're going to have to try to factor. Okay? So we haven't done one of these for a while. When a is, a lot of the times we've been doing, we just usually have a as 1. I keep them pretty easy for you. This one, you got a that is 6. So what we have to do is multiply the a times the c, which is negative 72. Are there two factors of negative 72? What times what? Negative 72 that add to give you negative 1. You know your math, you know your multiplication facts. Right, negative 9 and positive 8. Okay, I multiply those two, and I'll get negative 72. When I add those two, I'll get that negative 1, that b value. Okay? So what we do when it's like this is we rewrite it as 6x squared, and then instead of negative 1x, we write negative 9x plus 8x for the middle, and then the minus 12. What we did is we changed it to a grouping problem. We just group them. All right, in this first group, 3x is common. And in the second group, 4 is common. All right, 6x squared divided by 3x is 2x. And negative 9x divided by 3x is negative 3. 8x divided by 4 is 2x. And negative 12 divided by 4 is negative 3. All right, so I have a 2x minus 3 and a 3x plus 4. We haven't done one of these for a while, but you guys were pretty good at it when we were factoring them earlier in the year. So now look at the numerator and look at the factored denominator. Do you see factors that are the same? Yeah, the 2x minus 3's, right? So you can cancel those. Okay, so the answer then to this, when it's all said and done, since there's nothing left up here and we cancel those, when we cancel stuff, it's a 1. So 1's in the top and the 3x plus 4 is in the bottom. Okay, so both of those were a little bit tougher maybe than what you had yesterday. But it's something you should be able to handle. Any questions on either of those warm-up problems? So, number 4, yesterday's problem, was you had to add, subtract, multiply, and divide them. So Connor, what did you get when you added those two? Four, yeah, the first answer to number 4.
I got 4x minus 12.
That would be the subtraction problem.
I got 6x minus 18.
Yeah, right. So 6x minus 18 was correct for addition, and then you already gave us the subtraction one too. 4x minus 12 was right. Okay. So then we had multiplication. How about Cam? What'd you get when you multiplied those two?
5x squared minus 30x plus 45.
That is correct. And then when you divided them, what did you get? Matt Beard.
5x minus 5. That'll be a break.
Yeah, it actually reduces a little further. Tanner?
I got 10.
Close. Maddie? You got 8. Getting closer. Renita? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, when you divide those, you'll get 5. I'll do the division one, just real quick. It was 5x minus 15 was the top, was it x minus 3 is the bottom, right? When you divide them? Right, it was f of x over g of x, f over g. Okay, so if you look, this has got a GCF of a 5. And when you divide 5 into both of those, you got that x minus 3, so the x minus 3s will go away. So then it's just 5. Okay, anybody have a question on the addition, subtraction, or multiplication part? Okay. So then we jumped over to, what was it, 14? And we had to put a number in there. All right. Andrea, what'd you get for 14?
44.
No, that's not quite right. How about Zach saying
54.
Yeah, 54. Did you try to add them first, Andrea, and then plug it in, or did you plug it in first, then add? You plugged it in first? Okay, you used -7, right? Or not?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you square the -7 for the F part, you get 49. And then -3 times negative would be plus 21. That would be 70. Plus 2 would be 72. Trying to do it in my head. And then you go -2, or 2 times -7, which is -14 minus 4, would be -18. So there's where your 54 would come from. How about number 18? Justin Walker.
550.
Not quite that big. How about Jacob?
I got 10.
Nathan?
24. Not really.
No, it's bigger than that. Less than the 5 stuff, but bigger than that. How about that guy?
462.
462 is right, yeah. So you can put 24 in for F and 24 in for the G and then subtract them. Or you could subtract them first and then plug the 24 in. For 22, Dominic, what'd you get? Good, -200 is right. And then the last one, 26. Brooke?
5.
5 is correct. Any of those you'd like me to go over? Okay. So today we're doing what we call composition of functions. Okay. All right. So we did add, subtract, multiply, and divide yesterday. This is the other operation of functions. It says it uses the output from one function as the input for a second function. Okay. So they have this little circle they put in between them. All right. You could call it fog if you want. But it means f of g of x, all right? All right, and we're not going to worry about domains and ranges. We're just going to show you how to do it. So whatever g of x is goes in place of x in the f function, is what you're doing. Okay? So you're doing the g part first. Whatever comes after the circle, you find that answer first. Whatever that answer is, goes in for the x's in your f function. Okay? So, let's look at it. All right, so this one's f of g, f circle g of 4, all right, which means find g of 4 first. All right? So that means 7 minus 4. So what's that equal? 3. All right? So then you're going to find f of 3. So whatever you got for the answer for g, you put in the f function then. So that means 2 to the third. So what's that answer? What's 2 times 2 times 2? 8. Yeah. So you're finding 2 answers, but the second answer is the answer to the problem. Does that make sense? Okay. You go the other way, same problem, same 2 functions. All right, this time you're doing f of 4 first. When you switch the order, you do f of 4, which is 2 to the 4th. All right, that was 2 to the x, right? So I put 4 in place of the x. That's 16. So then I'm going to find g of 16. So you're taking the answer to the first one and plugging it into the second one. And what was that again? 7 minus x. So we're going to go 7 minus 16, which is what, negative 9? You guys follow that? Does that make sense to you? So that's what that circle means in between the two. All right, when you see the circle, you're taking the second function and whatever number is there, or there might be a variable might be there, might be x, okay? And we're plugging it in to the first one, okay? You guys try that one, please. Okay. Good job. You guys agree?
How much do we need for 660?
correct?
Where are you right now?
Good job.
And what's that? I'll call you after that.
Dominic, you awake today?
What do you want?
What's good? Come on, what are you doing first? Yeah. Yeah. Z, how you doing? I see nothing.
I got you.
Let's see, what'd you get?
No, not that. That's right.
Well, that would be right if we just left it X, right? You put the 3 there, let's see what.
I already had the book.
Yeah. No, it's incorrect.
Oh. It was black hole, I had to restart it.
Right. Did you get that, Nick?
You ain't get that.
Right. You got that part.
I don't.
Oh, you gotta do the G part first. G
All
can-
other fine sheets are not.
All right. Okay, so remember, the order is like backwards. When it's like this, you do this part first. Okay, you do G of 3. All right, so that is 3 squared, which is 9. And then you take that answer and put it into the F function. So it's 2 times 9, 18 minus 3, so the answer would be 15. Try this one. Go the other way. Which that might have been what you did, Maddie, already. I'll check it and see. Yeah. Make sure you guys can see that. Pretty good. Good. All right, so again, this is, I guess I should have written it. This is G circle F of 3, right? So you do F of 3 first, which is 2 times 3, 6 minus 3 equals 3. So then you're going to go G of 3, which means put the 3 there, 3 squared. So you got 9. Pretty easy, right? Just doing 2 problems. Now it gets a little tougher when you leave it as X. All right? So what? I'm going to do this. Now this means F circle G, right? Of X. A lot of times we'll just say fog and golf. But we're going to do this first. All right? So I'm just taking that answer and you're putting it in for X and the other one. Okay? So the g of x is the square root of x plus 2 I'm going to put here. So it's going to be 3, and I put that g of x in for x minus 4. So just distribute, which is 3 times the square root of x plus 6 minus 4. So that's 3 times the square root of x plus 2. That's as far as you go. Just simplify it. Does that make sense? So this one down here is G circle F, or golf. All right. So then I would take this and put it there for that F. Does that make sense? So we're just going to put it in place of the x, the other function, and then simplify. Okay? So this is like, this is what we're thinking. F of x was the square root, I'm sorry, can't see it, 3x minus 4. So it's like g of 3x minus 4, which is, again, hard to see it, but it's a square root. And we just put 3x minus 4 in there, plus 2. That's basically all you can do. You can't simplify anymore. So you just would leave it like this. If that was a perfect square under there, or if I could factor it maybe, but you can't factor the 3x minus 4. Okay? So when you got the numbers, you actually find an answer. When you got the variable x, you're just putting one function into the other and then simplifying. Does that make sense, those? Basically, yes. Simple, right? Look good, feel good? That, what did you say? You're good. Still on the boat? Fishing boat?
It was a good one. We had such a good summer.